All right, here we are. Chapter 16, page 127. So we just left Nate. He's going into the treasury to find Aunt Phil because she has not come back out. Okay, this is getting good. He's supposed to leave for his own safety, but he can't leave Aunt Phil. He has to find her. So let's see what happens. Chapter 16. Just inside the cave opening, the narrow tunnel wound downward until it opened up into a huge cavern, nearly as big as the main one. In the warm, glowing light coming off the treasure, Nate saw Obadiah and Aunt Phil backed up against the far wall, trapped by a long, lashing tail. "Nate, no!" Aunt Phil yelled. The enormous wyvern whipped his head around, his red rolling gaze nailing Nate in place. Old Nud's head was huge, possibly bigger than Nate himself. The scales on his scarred face were crusty with age. Ooh, turn the page. Oh, this is a great picture. There's old Nud the wyvern hissing at Nate, and you can see Obadiah and Aunt Phil on the tail side. This is a predicament. Remember, predicament means not a good situation. Top of page, let's see, that would be top of page 128. The wyvern roared, a loud rumble of sound that pounded against Nate's ears. He quickly shoved his ear trumpet in place. "Or should I say offering?" the wyvern was saying, "for any that wander into this realm is this area, are surely an offering to me." The wyvern chortled, the most horrid and unnerving sound Nate had ever heard. So chortled is kind of like a laugh. "He's not an offering," Aunt Phil yelled, her voice frantic. "He's just a child. You cannot harm a child." "No?" Nud asked. "Does it say that somewhere in your precious covenant?" That's the promise. "That our rules apply to everyone except for children?" "No, but it should." Aunt Phil looked at Nate helplessly. "Besides, he's the next beastologist, and there are always exceptions for beastologists." Nate gulped. His plan, which hadn't been very good to start with, now seemed especially puny. Puny means little. I brought you some treasure," he said, to trade for my aunt." Nate held up the cherished Fludd compass that Aunt Phil had given him just a short time ago, and his, turn the page, page 130, his pocket knife. He hated to part with them, but they were the only shiny things he owned. The wyvern roared, sending a billow of smoke in Nate's direction and covering him in ash. "Don't need more treasure." The wyvern had a point, Nate thought, studying the pile of treasure old Nud sat on. He probably didn't need any more. But even with all the treasure and the warmth it threw off, the cavern seemed huge and empty to Nate. And then he had an idea. A great, big, wonderful idea. He cleared his throat. "I have a greater treasure you might like, but I have to go get it." "Why should I let you go and risk losing my prize?" old Nud grumbled. "Because the treasure I will bring you will last a whole lifetime." The dragon snorted again, sending another little puff of smoke Nate's way. But there was a spark of curiosity in his eyes. Nate was sure of it. "Are you offering me a riddle?" Nud asked. "Oh, yes," Nate said, "I am. What treasure shines brighter than gold and lasts a lifetime?" Top of page 131. Old Nud narrowed his eyes and showed the first sign of true interest. Nate waited, holding his breath. Nud Fludd grumbled, sounding less angry. Very well. For the sake of this riddle I cannot answer, I will let you fetch this treasure. But hurry. He lifted one of his claws and inspected the point. I am afraid I grow hungry. What do you think Nate is going to go get? What do you think Nate thinks is so precious that he could bring back to old Nud? What could it be? I have an idea. I wonder if you do. Well, we'll find out in chapter 17. But for today, I'm going to stop reading, and I want you to go to your novel activities, and I want you to do page 32, called An Author's Craft, Show, Don't Tell. Now, this is about how authors give us hints. They don't really tell us exactly what's going to happen. They give us hints through their words, kind of like what they just did now. There's a great treasure. Here's the hint. What treasure shines brighter than gold and lasts a lifetime? It's kind of a riddle. It's a clue. Authors do that in stories all the time. They give us little nuggets, little clues to what will happen in the future of the story. And then we get to predict, and then we get to find out if our predictions are true. All right, we have 2 more chapters. That will be tomorrow, and we'll finish our story. Great job reading, great job doing your schoolwork. I'm so proud of you. Be sure you're good helpers to your mom and dad at home. Make sure you work hard, be kind, love one another, and know that you are loved greatly by me, by Mrs. Vargas, by Theodore Judah, and by your families. Stay safe, friends. Stay healthy, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye. Winston would say bye, but he's sleeping.